went ahead and finished the other one off camera. Googly googly. So now you have your eyes, and these can go right in the head. Next, we're going to cut out our border out of the Stiffened Felt. This is one of my tried and true rim shapes. The holes on here are for neodymium magnets, and that's what I use to make the removable eyelids for angry eyes or sad eyes. Magnets fit in there. So we're going to go ahead and trace that on our Stiffened Felt. Use a silver Sharpie for this. Alright, I've got my basic head shape here. This is about the stage that I like to put the eyes in, and we're just going to pop them in. Looks pretty good. When you put them in, you want to make sure that they are symmetrical horizontally. That's kind of hard to hold up, but that's pretty good. You can feel on the inside where your seams are, and you want them pushed nice and close together. You want them forward facing as opposed to angled real hard. The more angled you make them, the weirder they look towards the front. You tend to get the best following effect with them being flat, and you can see really well. Then we're going to take our eye borders and pop them in. Make sure you like the look of them. These aren't glued in, so they're gonna bend up and around on me. I'm gonna pin them in. How nice that follows. Before you glue in the eyes, you want to make sure that you like their placement, and you also want to make sure that the balaclava is opened up around the eyes. We'll do that next. If you worked with a balaclava that already has an eye opening, that's cool. I like to use a homemade balaclava that is fully one big bucket, so it has no openings in the front. I like to make an X or a cross T shape to open this portion up. And I'm going to glue all of these down all the way around to open up the eye so you can actually see out of it. This bottom segment here is drying. I'll show you how I get in there and glue it. So you don't need a lot of glue. It's just a little piece of fabric. So just get a little bit of hot glue on there. And be real careful. This is an enclosed kind of tight little spot here. I like to pick it up by the corner. Oh, of course, I can't see any of that. And just press up inside from the inside out. Okay, now that my eyes are all opened up, they're all glued down and open, I'm going to pop my eyes back in there. And the way I like to put the eyes in is the smaller part up here towards the top and the slightly bigger part down here at the bottom. That's just how I draw eyes. Yours might be completely different. Not too far back in the head. And you'll notice my mannequin head has glasses on underneath this tape, and that helps me keep these a little bit far away from or a little bit spaced out from where your eyes would sit, so that your eyelashes aren't brushing the backs of the eyes. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to look at our head, gauge the distance here, make sure that they're in the same place, make sure the top are in the same place, they're not too far forward, they're not too far back, and we're going to glue them in place. So we're going to take our glue gun and get between the foam and the eye and just run some glue in there. Make sure you're not moving your eye. You don't have to use a lot of glue, just enough to keep it in place, because this is just the kind of the base of the head. There's going to be more foam going around it. If you're putting in your eyes towards the end, you will probably want to make sure that they're secured. But really, eyes like this, they're not going anywhere in this head. They are wedged in tight. Okay. And double check them again before that glue dries. You want to look right at it and make sure that there's no discrepancies between the two eyes. Nothing looks out of place. Those are pretty good. Okay, and the next thing we're going to add is our borders. So once again, you're going to start by pinning them on. You might need to trim them down a little bit, or if you're not liking the way they're looking, completely come up with a new shape. I do like this border though. These are being a little weird though. So I'm going to trim down in here because it's not sitting flush. I'm also going to trim right here. That's better. Much better. Okay. So I'm going to take that and the other one, and line them up. You're going to want to line up the magnet holes if you're doing that. Mostly you want to line up the inside, especially this corner on the inside. Now they're both symmetrical. I went ahead and pinned the borders on. I made sure everything is nice and even. Things look good. The irises are evenly spaced from the borders. And now I'm just going to go ahead and glue those down. So wherever the black part touches the white rim of the eye, I'm just going to run some hot glue along there and tack it down. I'm going to make sure that this stays nice and taut, that it's not getting wrinkly or bunchy. That's why I like to pin it all down first. I like to alternate too between the eyes. It gives them time to dry. That one didn't dry yet. And you just want to work a little bit at a time so your hot glue doesn't dry. Between the eyes, it gives them time to dry. That one didn't dry yet. When you get into the inner corners, you want to be extra careful. Those are good. Ignore the rest of the face, because obviously it's not done. But now you have some nice 3D eyes. Now that they're in the head, usually the very last thing I like to do on a suit is put the little eye sparkles in. Usually I just take the end of an eraser and dip it into white paint and just dot, dot. I like to wait to put them in the head first and have everything else done before I do that. That way your highlights are even on both sides instead of being cattywampus if you put them on first. And it just brings the whole thing to life at the end. And it's kind of a magic moment putting the eye sparkles in. So I hope you really like this tutorial, and I hope that this is a DIY project that you can do and that you can use in your own suits. If you do, let me know. I'm on Twitter at Fluffy Mischiefs, Instagram, Fluffy Mischiefs, and I will link everything below. Thank you everybody for supporting me. Have a great rest of your week. Get out there and make some mischief.